What's up, assholes? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be making a tier list, which is something you're not going to see on this channel too often because it's a lot of work. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to be doing a tier list ranking potential main events for UFC 317 International Fight Week, and basically ranking them based on how happy I would be if they were announced. So basically fights that could potentially headline. You're not going to see something unrealistic like a Conor comeback, because let's be real, that's not happening. But yeah, it's going to be all the fights that have been talked about or could potentially headline that are realistic. So fights like Jones versus Aspinall, Ilya versus Islam, God forbid, Gaethje versus Islam, Drickers versus Hamzat, fights like that. And I'm going to be ranking them all from book this shit immediately all the way to killing the sport. But yeah, having a look at the tier list right now, actually, as you can see, I've got 5 tiers. I've got book this shit immediately. Basically, fight needs to get booked and the UFC need to stop fumbling. The second tier is great main event. It may not be the main event I want, but it's still a great fight and I'll happily take it. Number 3 is I'll take it, meaning it's a decent main event. Probably not the main event I would have wanted for a card like this, but, I'll take it. 4 is fuck off. Basically, if they put this as the main event, I'm not going to be happy and I'm probably going to rant about it. And the last one is death of the sport. Basically, if they put whatever fights are in that tier list as the main event, the UFC hate their fans and they're intentionally trying to sabotage their own company and they just don't want their company to succeed. So to start off the tier list, let's talk about a fight everybody wants. Starting the tier list, we're going to put Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall and book this shit immediately. Why is this fucking shit not booked? Oh my god, I'm sick of ranting about this. Dana, book this fucking fight or strip Jon Jones of the belt. He's caused you nothing but trouble with all of his fucking steroid allegations. Sorry, not allegations, he's been caught using steroids. All the times he's beaten his wife, ran over pregnant women, all the controversies he's caused, and you still let this guy walk all over your company. Strip him of the fucking belt if he doesn't accept this fight. If not, make this fight for International Fight Week. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. If this fight gets booked, I'm going to be over the moon. Everyone will be, and this card would do big numbers. But unfortunately, we're not going to get it because the UFC hates their fans. But in the event that this fight is on the table, book this shit immediately. Do this as the main event. It's the number 1 fight I want as the main event. Moving on to the next fight that could be a main event. Next on the list, we have Drickers versus Hamzat, and it's going in great main event tier list. Because although it's not the fight we've been clamoring for like Jones versus Aspinall, like it's not the fight we've been creaming our pants over, it's still a very great fight. It's probably the highest anticipated fight that we're actually going to get. So it's going to go in great main event. And even if it is the main event, the card will still do good numbers. Like, Hamzat's got a lot of hype. Probably not as much hype as he would have had a few years ago, but it's still going to be a great matchup. And these two are actually willing to fight each other. Drickers is not doing a Jon Jones and avoiding the number 1 contender. But yeah, if they announce this main event, and honestly, I think this is most likely going to be the main event, I'll be happy with it. Because honestly, I think this is likely what we're going to get for the 317 headliner, because at this point, I honestly don't know what else it's going to be. So yeah, Drickers versus Hamzat. It's going to go in great main event tier list. Next up on the list, we have the Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira rematch. And this fight was already scheduled to take place like a year and a half ago, but it never happened. But honestly, if they try and rebook it now, yeah, I'm not going to be happy. I'm sorry, but I'm just not interested in an Islam-Charles rematch. I mean, Islam beat him so dominantly the first time, and I don't think there's any need for a rematch, even when they first booked it. And also, since then, he's lost to Arman. And Charles was coming off of 1 win against Chandler. Like, that should not warrant you a title shot. Islam's just going to run through him again. Like, I actually want to see Islam get tested against someone like Arman or Ilya, which we will get to in a second. But yeah, I have no interest in the Charles Islam rematch. And I'm tired of all these Charles Oliveira fanboys going like, the champion has a name. Like, stop. He's lost to Arman and Islam quite convincingly. I don't want to see the rematch. Speaking of Islam, next we have Islam versus Ilya. And if they can't get Jones versus Aspinall as the main event, which I have a feeling they're not going to because Jones is being a bitch, do Islam versus Ilya. Jesus Christ, this is a once-in-a-generation fight. A fight that people are going to be talking about for years if it doesn't happen, like Anderson Silva GSP. and they're fumbling it. This could be like the Anderson Silva GSP fight that we never got. Hurry up and book this fight, especially if Jones Aspinall doesn't happen, because I know they're not going to put them on the same card, and honestly, I'd like them to both be on a different card, because then that means we get hyped for 2 cards. But yeah, make this the other main event if you can't get Jones versus Aspinall, which I have a feeling they're not. Like, there's no reason why they can't book this fight. Honestly, just book it. I know Islam says he wants to wait for Bilal, JDM winner, but they're not going to be ready for a while. And what if Bilal wins? So yeah, do this as the main event for International Fight Week if you can't get Jones versus Aspinall, which is likely. But because the UFC hates us, we're probably going to get this. Islam versus Gaethje as the International Fight Week main event. And I swear to Christ, if this is the main event of UFC 317, I am going to have a generational meltdown. Like, I'm literally going to record a video and post it at the second it gets announced. Because there is no way they can do this to us. They're already not giving us the fights we want. It's another step further to give us the fights we don't want. Like, we're already getting an O'Malley-Merab rematch, which no one asked for. So yeah, if they do Islam versus Gaethje as the main event for International Fight Week, hell will be broken loose. It's one thing to not give us the Ilya versus Islam fight, but to give us Islam versus Gaethje as a replacement, bro. No one wants to see this fight. We already know how it ends, and I'm tired of people acting like it will go any different than Islam submitting him within 2 rounds. Yeah, Poirier did well, but Poirier also has decent jiu-jitsu, and Islam had staff going into that. Gaethje has no jiu-jitsu. The second it hits the mat, Islam's going to fold him up like a pretzel. So yeah, I do not want to see this fight. Do not book this fight, but because we don't want to see it, that means the UFC are 100% going to do it. So prepare for this to be the main event for International Fight Week. Once again, speaking of Islam, a rematch between Islam and Arman, if that gets rebooked for International Fight Week, I'm not going to be too upset. Like, honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I do wish we saw it earlier, and it would be a little underwhelming if this was the main event, but I'd still be happy with it. This is still a fight I really want to see. Because, honestly, I think it's the toughest test for Islam at lightweight, outside of Topuria. So if this is the main event, I'm not going to be too unhappy. Yes, I would prefer it be Ilya, but if for whatever reason they're not going to do it, just give Arman his damn title shot. He deserves it more than Gaethje. He literally beat the guy that choked out Gaethje in a round. Like, just rebook this fight, but the UFC are petty, so they're not going to. But yeah, if you can't get Islam versus Ilya, just rebook Islam versus Arman. Moving on to a fight that better not be the main event of any pay-per-view. Weili versus Shevchenko. I swear to God, if they put this as the main event, I'm going to have an even bigger crash out than I would if it was Islam versus Gaethje. Actually, maybe not. I don't know, because at least Weili versus... fucking nearly said Grasso. Weili versus Shevchenko is a fight I actually want to see. So I wouldn't be too... Actually, no, I would be mad. I would be mad if it was a main event. If it's a co-main event, great. Like, I'd be perfectly happy with that. That's actually a women's fight people want to see. But yeah, please do not put it as the main event, Dana. Next on the list, we have a fight that's most likely going to get booked because Jones has been a bitch. And that's Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane for the undisputed heavyweight title. Now, a lot of people are saying that if Jones vacates, they're going to do a vacant title fight. Why the fuck would they do that? The whole point of an interim champion is that if the champion vacates, they get promoted to undisputed. Like, why would they then have to fight for a vacant belt? Do these people even know how the sport works? Like, it's a placeholder belt for, or like a backup belt for in case the champion can't return. Like, they get promoted to undisputed, like what Henan Barao did. That's how it works. But anyway, I do believe his first official title defense will be against Cyril Gane. And honestly, I wouldn't mind this. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh wow, I can't wait for this. Mainly because I just like Cyril Gane. Like, hot take, he's one of my favorite fighters, and I just like seeing him fight. I love his style. I know a lot of people might not, well, maybe not so much on the style, but I know a lot of people don't like Gane. But I like him for who he is. I like his fighting style. Yes, he can be entitled, and he has Dana White privilege as well. The UFC desperately want a French champion, so that's probably why they're pushing him, even though they also have a Mavov. I mean, that's probably why they try to push Benoit Saint Denis. But yeah, I honestly think this would be a decent fight, even though I think Aspinall likely submits him on the feet. I do think it would be a competitive fight, because Gane's the best striker at heavyweight right now. Aspinall is powerful and fast, so he'd make for a great fight on the feet. But once it gets to the ground, yeah, we know how it ends. Decent fight, but not the main event we'd be looking for. A main event we wouldn't be looking for, however, is Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. Now, I know this fight's basically being confirmed for UFC 317. Well, actually, I don't know if it's been confirmed. It's just been rumored. But honestly, I have no interest in the fight in general, man, because I just don't want to see Kai Kara France get a title shot coming off of one win against Steve Ercik, who's like coming off a loss now. I'd rather see Manel Cap be given the shot. But also, if this fight was to be the main event, which it won't be, I would be so fucking mad. Like, it's bad enough we're getting this fight, which we don't want. To have it as a main event, bruh, that would just be the death of the sport. But yeah, I'm not going to be too harsh on this one, believe it or not, because it's not going to be a main event. It's going to be a co-main, but please don't fucking put this as the main event, like, in case they think about doing it. Because I know once for International Fight Week, they were supposed to put Nunes versus Shevchenko as a main event. So yeah, please don't get any funny ideas with this one. Moving on to the final fight on this tier list, we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2, the rematch for the light heavyweight title. And honestly, I feel like out of all the fights on this list, I honestly don't see... This is the one I'm least likely to see being booked for International Fight Week, just because it happened not too long ago, and I do think Pereira would want a little bit more time. I think August is more their window. But if this was booked for International Fight Week, I'd be pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not too quick of a turnaround. Pereira has enough time to recover, maybe, I don't know, adjust some things, and get the fucking belt back. He fucking better destroy that inbred Ankalaev. But yeah, I'd be pretty happy with this as the main event. Much more happier than I would be with a lot of these other ones. Like, I'd rather see that than Islam versus Charles, but yeah, I don't see it being booked. Or if the main event falls through and they need to fight on short notice, I also don't see it happening. Because let's be real, Ankalaev is not putting his belt online. Sorry, not online. On the line, I meant. On 2 weeks' notice. He's not going to fight for his defend his title on 2 weeks' notice like Pereira did. He only wants to fight once a year in Abu Dhabi on a blue moon, where the judges are all Dagestani, his dad is the ref, and the ring girls are all goats. Like, he's not fighting on 2 weeks' notice, guys. And he's probably only going to fight once more this year. So say goodbye to 3 title fights a year in the light heavyweight division. We're not seeing Yuri versus Ankalaev till next year, sadly. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up, guys, for the tier list. On to the outro now. Wait, why the fuck did I just say that? I never say that, but yeah, whatever. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share the video, all the above. All hail the Marlon Army. And yeah, I'm going to try and upload this video before, the UFC actually makes an announcement for 317. Because I have a feeling they're going to do it after 314, kind of like what they did last year at UFC 300. But, yeah. Fuck, I'm out of things to say, so, yeah. Fuck off.